and welcome back. So in today's video, I really wanted to come and talk to you about some of the steps that I took to start me on my investment journey. And that's because a lot of people have been DMing me on Instagram as well as writing in my comments asking me how I started investing and what my plans are, how I'm doing it, what I'm doing. And so I thought I would start this series where I would talk a little bit more in depth about my investment strategy, what my portfolio looks like, and how I am going to get myself to a point, hopefully, where I can retire pretty early and just live off my dividends. That's the dream, right? In fact, that is one thing I would tell you now, that if you are thinking it's a little bit too late, that you should have started earlier on, it's better to just start now than to never start at all. At least try it out now and see where you get to in the next 5-10 years, because what's worse is actually sitting in the next 5-10 years and saying, I wish I had started it then. So let's just get to it and let's just start investing, right? So the biggest disclaimer I have to give you right now is that I am not a financial advisor. I'm just a mum on the internet living frugally and trying to retire before I'm 40. So please make sure you do your own research and you get in touch with a registered financial advisor where it is needed. So I'm just going to talk about my experience and I hope you get something out of it. Please make sure to hit that like button and to subscribe. It really does help me with my channel, and it also helps to make sure that other people who are also thinking about this kind of stuff get the opportunity to join our community. So let's just get straight to it. The first thing that I did is to make sure I invested in myself. So it is super important to make sure you get educated and understand what it is that you want to be doing. So because we're talking about investing, it's important to get knowledge and understanding of how the investment system process, all of that works, because we all know that knowledge is power, right? And it's important to get an understanding of what it is that you're getting yourself into. So the first thing that I did was to start by reading some books, and 2 books really stick out to me that really helped me out. The first one is The 4-Hour Week by Timothy Ferriss, which basically talks about how you can start a business and you can have passive income that will enable you to get to a point where you only work 4 hours a week. Now that is a dream for me, because ever since I become a mum, I realize I need the flexibility to do all the things that I need to do. And if I can make passive income on top of that, well, I only have to work 4 hours a week, that is incredible. Because I think for me, especially, my mind shift was that you just have to work a 9 to 5. I had just grown with that, that's the way that you need to go. But there are really people out here making money and only working 4 hours a week. And I want to be part of that. This is why it's important to read stuff, because it opens you up to understanding that actually sometimes you may have to deviate your path a little bit to get to the goal you want a little bit earlier than you expect. The second book is Rich Dad, Poor Dad. And I know a lot of people recommend this book, but this book is actually really good, and it's by Robert Kiyosaki. And this book goes through Robert's life, and he talks a lot about how he invested in assets and made money for him, and it's his life experience and how his journey has progressed throughout the years. So I highly recommend those 2 books. There are many other books I will also list down in the description below, so go ahead and just start. If you don't like reading, listen to you don't necessarily have to sit down with a physical book these days. I understand people are really busy, and so you can listen to it as you go along. But the important thing is to always make sure you are reading and getting as much knowledge as you can about investing, investments, understanding what the lingo is when it comes to investing. So I'm talking about ETFs, stocks, shares, all these things that people throw out there. It's important to understand what they mean. Now, I mean, you could just get a financial advisor and just get them to do everything for you. But I also think it's really important, even if you do that, it's important to understand the basics of what they are doing for you. So either way, it's important to always make sure you understand what you're doing. So that really helped me out. Then the second thing is to follow other people's journey. So it's important to get the knowledge, but without understanding what the practicality of that is in real life and how you can apply that knowledge, there's no need to try and test out anything in this world when there are successful people already doing it. So it's important to make sure that you are aware of who's doing what, how their journey is mapping out. And I love YouTube for this, because YouTube highlights to you, allows other investors and other everyday people like you and me to show you exactly how they are doing it practically on a day-to-day basis, on a week-to-week basis, or even on a month-to-month basis, and they are willing to share that part of their life with you and I. So it's really important to make sure that you are subscribed and you are following a lot of people. So I've got people that I follow, and I could list out hundreds of people that I follow, but there are 3 particular ones who have really stood out to me, and I really enjoy their channels, and I'll make sure to link them down below so you can check them out, follow them, tell them Yvonne sent you there. They don't know who I am, but tell them I sent you there. So the first one is The Humble Penny, and I love this channel because it's a couple who have basically got themselves to the point where they have quit their 9-to-5 jobs and they're making enough money to sustain them and their family through a variety of businesses and investing, and I just think it's wonderful, and they're sharing their journey of how they did that. The next one is Our Rich Journey, and I absolutely love this channel because they show how they manage to retire themselves before 40, and I mean, that is the plan for me, and I want to get to the point where I can do that too. And not only did they do that, but they managed to give themselves an income that sustains them, sustains their life, sustains providing education for their children, doing everything that they need to do so that they can live the life that they so desire. I absolutely love it. And they basically share with you their investment strategies. They share with you how their investments are giving them a monthly income more than they need to live on. And I love that. So please make sure to go check them out. Then the next one is Panda Boss, and she's basically sharing her personal journey. She's still in the early stages. She also wants to retire pretty early, but she's at the stages of building up her investment portfolio and making sure she's basically making dividends enough to make sure she can retire herself in Poland. Other channels are like Uriah Mitchell, Ewan Copeland. There's so many out there, and I will make sure to link them in the description below. But the key thing is to make sure you are listening to other people's experiences and gaining as much information as you can from what they are doing, and consulting a financial advisor. So let's not forget that you are supposed to be consulting a financial advisor, but it's making sure you do it. And what I like to do is to make sure that I always have them on in the background. Watch them while I'm cooking, I watch them while I'm cleaning, I watch them basically in my spare time, just in the background, just so that I'm absorbing as much information as I can, because it's important not only to know what the theory states, but also to make sure that I'm up to date on what the practicalities of it really look like in real time. So those are 2 things that I basically started doing from early way, and I just made sure that I was investing in my knowledge and investing in myself to make sure I need to. And then now that you have gathered information on what you should be doing theoretically and practically, the next thing to do is just to take the step and go ahead and start investing. Now, the important thing is to make sure you choose one of 2 elements. So you can just go ahead and go to a financial advisor and make sure you get somebody who is very much an expert in this particular area and get them to do all your investments for you. But if you're not in a position where you can do that, then the important thing is to just start doing it with real-time money. And it doesn't have to be hundreds of thousands of pounds. You can literally start investing with just £1. There are a variety of apps out there that you can be using, and I know that in the US there is Robinhood, there is Webull, in the UK there's Trading 212, there's Free Trade, there's so many of them, and I'm pretty sure you've seen YouTube video ads for a majority of them. But for me, there are 2 that really stick out for me. So Free Trade and Trading 212 are the platforms that I really like. Their interfaces are like super easy to use, which was really important for me. I didn't want to have to go into an app and like try and build some sort of code or something, or try and decipher some sort of code to understand what was going on. I needed something that was really easy to use, and I just found that Trading 212 and Free Trade were really simple. But for the sake of this video, I'm going to talk about Trading 212, and I will do an in-depth video on both of them and exactly how I use them. I also wanted to make sure that I could start with a small amount that I was willing to risk, you know. So I started with just £1 a day. So I would invest £7 a week. and I would just build my portfolio up like that, do my research on what types of stocks or ETFs, what I wanted to purchase with my £7. And of course, if somebody used my link to open up their own account and load up £1, I would get a free share as well. So I basically try to make sure as many people use the link so that we can both get free shares. And by the way, if you use my link and upload £1, you can get a free share and I can get a free share. So that's another way you could do it. And what I really liked about Trading 212 was, before I even started investing my £1 a day or my £7 a week, was that it allowed me to play with some fake money. So they basically give you an allocated fake $50,000 and you can basically have fun with it. You can track how it is. And it's just a good way to start practicing investing. So you could basically start off and give yourself a time period for a month or a week. In fact, give yourself a time period for a week, but use the fake money and basically start investing in companies that you have researched. Make sure you do that bit. You have researched and see how you perform over the week. So practice. And I really liked about that. Once I was comfortable with practicing with it, I then decided to actually just then start investing my £1 a week. And I have basically built my portfolio to a point where now I invest about £100 a week. So you just do it slowly by slowly, you get more comfortable. But the one thing I would say is, before you start investing, do research on companies and ask yourself this question. Do you know the company's business model? Are they a well-known brand? Especially when you're starting off, I would say don't take as much risk. Unless you're a risky person, I would say try and minimize the amount of risk you are willing to take. So is it a company that you know their business model? Are they a well-established company? Do they provide value? Have they shown that they are making money year on year? Find out these things. It's really easy to just look at. That's why it's really important to make sure you invest in your knowledge and understanding how the investment process works, how the stock market works, so you can get an understanding of what you should be looking for. The second thing I would say is, don't spend too much time researching. It's important to research and it's important to understand a lot of things, but don't spend too much time researching, because that is time lost that you could actually be investing. And the third thing I would say is, just start off with a little bit of money. Don't put all your eggs in one basket and just go for it. Start off with a little bit of money, and as you get more and more comfortable, then increase the amount. But it is important to make sure that you are increasing and investing on a regular basis so that you can basically grow your portfolio that way and you can grow your investments that way. It's important to make sure that you're not just doing one static move and just leaving that for a second, unless you're doing a huge amount of money. But in the first instance, I would say start off little and then continuously increase the amount you invest in. And don't forget, I will be sharing my portfolio and what that looks like in an upcoming video. So please make sure to subscribe and hit that like button. I really hope you've enjoyed this video, because these are just the practical steps that I took to help me start on my investment journey. Please make sure to watch out for the next video. So until the next video, take care. Bye. Mwah.